Continuing. So, like I said, but most Jake, they don't want to study for themselves. They want, to be led. Yeah. And the thing is, what is that scripture? It says, the blind leadeth the blind, both shall fall in a ditch. You got a lot of spiritually blind people. Yeah, what sounds good isn't always good. You know what I mean? What tastes good isn't always good. You know what I mean? What's pleasing to the eyes isn't always pleasing to the spirit. You get what I'm saying? Um, Continuing. It says, thanks to them, public opinion is well monitored with assist, of course, from the alert social scientists and certain university institutes financed by the big corporations and foundations. Wayward opinions, once detected, are duly corrected by a barrage of printed matter and public pronouncements. Intelligence agency penetration of the media began at the same time as the forming of the American media conglomerates in the first half of this century. One of the first and most successful control operations of the media was launched in 1919 with the creation of WCA by Westinghouse, Morgan Guaranty and Trust, General Electric, and the United Fruit Company. In 1929, David Sarnoff, a close associate of Tavistock, was appointed head of RCA. Shortly afterward, British intelligence set up the Black Chamber Intelligence Operation in the RCA building in New York under the direction of Sir William Stephenson, codenamed Intrepid, and General Marlborough Churchill, a relative of Winston Churchill. General Churchill would later be instrumental in founding the Macy organization, which would be used as the funding conduit for CIA MK Ultra mind control operations. All three major American television networks were offsprings of RCA. Wow. The information war entered a new realm of effectiveness in 1930s when the Rockefeller Foundation launched secret psychological war projects to shape public opinion. According to the Christopher Simpson author of Science of Coercion, they were a remarkable tight circle of men and women who shared several important conceptions about mass communication research. They regarded mass communication as a tool for social management and as a weapon in social conflict. And they expressed common assumptions concerning the usefulness of quantitative research, particularly experimental and quasi-experimental effects research, opinion surveys, and quantitative content analysis as a means of illuminating what communication is and improving its application to social management. At about the same time that the Rockefeller Media Manipulation Program went into overdrive, the Office of Strategic Service and the Office of War Information began recruiting the best and the brightest from American intelligentsia for initiation to the ranks of spookdom, as well as inserting their agents into powerful positions in the mass media and politics and in the universities. Bear with me. This is the book of Psalms 64. I'm going to start at verse 1. To the chief musician, a psalm of David. Hear my voice, O Yahweh, and my prayer. Salaki, and in my prayer. Preserve my life from the fear of the enemy. Verse 2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity. And this is that secret counsel. You had a group of people behind the scenes that created all these agencies to actually manipulate the world that we live in, while these people sit back in the background and continue to do their wickedness. You think that these people like the Windsors, like that fucking, she's a queen, is that bitch a whore? That little reptilian looking, I don't believe in no human reptilians, but what I'm saying is, like, that bitch a demon though, you get what I'm saying? But like, you really think that she, like, is actually under the same subjection as you is? That bitch faces on money. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, then you got these dumbass people sit up there talking about we all created equal when they clearly show you in your face that we're not. That's why you got a nigga get shot. Like I was just watching David Chappelle, even though it was an old comedy show, and I got a brother that don't like him. I still find him funny. At the end, he said something though. What I mean? He was talking about that one where he was like, he was with his wife friend, and the wife friend was like, "Oh yeah, I've got to race him, Dave." And then he said he got pulled over by the police, and then he's scared to death, and he like, well, he didn't know he couldn't do that, so the police let him go. He like, you didn't know you could do that. You couldn't do that. You know what I mean? Just how it was a joke, but at the end of the day, it was the truth. Like he did that joke about that. I remember that case with the young Jake boy. I think he was playing with his sister. He was playing with some little kid, and he mimicked the wrestling move and killed the child. They gave that little boy life. You get what I'm saying? But they don't treat these Edomites the same way. You know what I mean? Like, and actually, at the end of the day, they make them more violent. That's why you got these little violent motherfuckers growing up, shooting up whole fucking shopping centers and shit like that. Like, man, I can't wait till the Most High destroy this wicked ass place. Verse 3, who wet their tongue like a sword and bear their, and that's a spirit, who wet their tongue like a sword, because like we coming into that time where they about to start using they media against, the brethren, I mean, and it ain't just gonna be our camp of GMS. It's gonna be all the Hebrew Israelite camps, even the ones that sold out. See, the thing is, when you fuck with the devil, you gotta always watch or look over your shoulder. You get what I'm saying? You're fucking with the devil. You get what I'm saying? In that movie Saw, he said, in hell, the only person that can help you is the devil. But you sure you want his help? You know what I'm saying? Like, the fuck. So we coming into that time when they about to use their media and they gonna start lying on us. We the Elder Malcolm, I think I might have did a video too as well. I can't really remember. But a lot of brothers know about the technology. I forgot what the name of the technology is. They did a video about how they got a software that could actually they could make you appear like you said something that you didn't say. And bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. Verse 4, that they may shoot in secret at the perfect. Suddenly, though, they shoot at him and fear not. And at the end of the day, they're going to be shooting at us. So, I'm going to jump back. About the same time the Rockefeller Media Manipulation Program went into overdrive, the Office of Strategic Services in the Office of War Information began recruiting the best and the brightest from American. I read that already. Salakia. The publishers of Time, Look, Fortune, and several dailies, editors of such magazines as Holiday, Cornet, Parade, and the Saturday Review. Parade is still out. Editors of the Denver Post, New Orleans Times, and others. The heads of the Viking Press, Harper and Brothers, and Far Strayus and Young, 2 Hollywood Oscar winners, a 2-time Pulitzer Prize winner, the board chairman of CBS, and a dozen key network executives, President Eisenhower's chief speechwriter, the editor of Reader's Digest International Editions, at least 6 partners of large advertising agencies, and a dozen noted social scientists, chief of the U.S. government's overt psychological warfare effort from 1950 to 1952, and later Dean of Columbia Graduate School of Journalism and founder of the Columbian Journalism Review. During the 1950s, American mass media interlocked directly with the CIA. The agency feeding information to journalists in exchange for their own intelligence developed domestically and abroad. Reporters were employed by the CIA to deliver communiques as well as money to contacts and to toe the agency's line in their own dispatches. The CIA even ran a training program teaching reporting skills to agents. Wow, it is virtually impossible to determine the exact number of American journalists who are currently on the CIA. And listen, and I can believe that, you know what I mean? Like, just take the time to think about it. They said, and we ain't talking about in the past, it said currently, it says virtually impossible to determine the exact number of American journalists who are currently on the CIA or other intelligence agency payroll. I was reading some, I forgot what book, but it was talking about how, like, basically how, a lot of these, like the CIA, how they subcontract with, like, you think this motherfucker just an average American citizen, this motherfucker be contracted with the CIA, It's crazy, man. Like I remember my brother was talking about how there's a guy in the building that my dad stayed in before he passed, my earthly father, and the guy knew our father from years ago or something like that. And he was like, one day he showed my brother this badge. He was like, it looked like a police badge, but it wasn't the size of a regular badge. It was a fucking like a miniature badge. So, you know what I mean? And this dude was a Jake. But to show you how fucking bugged out our people is, like after you even go into the whole history of the slave patrol and all that, they just like, they're just, fucked up, man. Salaki. I'm gonna stop there.